Okay, you know it's been a long time since I filmed a video when I have to have notes to tell you an update of my life and where I've been. Blessed be, beautiful soul. I'm Samantha. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you and everyone to my safe little corner of the internet. Now, if you are new around these parts, I'm a pagan, a witch, a spiritual practitioner, and I've been MIA for 3 months from this channel, and I'm really sorry. I have had so many messages from you guys being like, where are you? Hurry up, film a video. Come on, girl. Are you okay? Are you alive? Because I kind of just ditched it, and I want to tell you why. But also in this video, I just want to discuss some of the things that have kind of come from this whole life lesson of not only have I stopped YouTube, I have stopped my spiritual practice. What does that look like when you've been somebody who practices? I do channeling, I do readings and ritual and all the things, right? When you do that every day for like 8 years and then you stop completely, like I'm talking no cards, no channeling, no meditation, nothing. What happens? How do we find ourselves going back to our routine and our practice when we completely give it up? And there's some of the things I want to talk about, but also I kind of need to figure out the answer. And I guess talking to you, I hope that we can kind of, I don't know, you could leave in the comments like if you've ever gone on a hiatus from your spiritual practice or from your meditation practice or whatever it might be. But like I said, I also just want to update you on what's been happening. So very briefly, I kind of have the long story on my Patreon if you're ever interested in it, but my husband is a disability support worker and I got a job at his company. And I went on in this job thinking, I need some structure. I've been my own boss and been self-employed for the last 9 years, I'd say, and I need something more. You know, I really just wanted to go into an environment that was very structured so I could let my little Virgo sun go rampant instead of always being the boss, always being in charge of all the decisions and stuff like that. So I was just thinking I'd go do a bit of support work for like 10 hours a week while I'm running my own business and just break it up, shake it up. I turned 30, like, it's time for a change. That didn't happen. So I ended up getting a job at the company, but doing more like of the groups, and instead of doing like one-on-one support, it was more of a like, we want you to be kind of a bit of admin, kind of a bit of a support worker, a bit of a hybrid role, if you will. That then turned into the like events and marketing and coordinator of all the programs. She decided to resign and then I kind of stepped up into that role. And so I now am like the hub and programs coordinator of the company where I live. So that's what's been happening. I have managed to find myself what I thought was going to be like, 4-hour shift here, a 2-hour shift there, into 30 hours a week of work from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. I'm in charge of like doing all the Christmas parties, all the events, running all the programs and the school holiday programs and coordinating all of that stuff. And so stepping into that role at this time of the year, like coming up towards the holiday season, has been wild. I coordinated like a whole Halloween little spectacular where we did trick-or-treating, and I can't show you too much of the footage because of like confidentiality and privacy and all those sorts of things, but I'll show you my little outfit. I dressed up as a vampire and I did all of this decoration all around our hub. I had a big mural and I had like all these decorations that I painted. So it was so much fun coordinating that kind of like theme for the month of October. And now I'm just kind of like gearing up towards Christmas and the holidays, and oh my goodness, it has been wild. So in amongst all of that, turning 30, I feel like I went through a really big like shedding process. I sort of have stepped into my 30s feeling very new. And I guess that's why this break was really important. One of the big things that happened to me was around my 30th birthday, I just had a moment with spirit, with my guides, and I went outside. And I think it was raining, but I just remember like crying and looking up at the sky and having one of those moments, you know, that I don't know if everybody else does, but I personally talk to the universe a lot. But what I kind of realized is that I've been kind of living my life in theory. Like, I do YouTube, and so I talk a lot about what you could do on my Patreon, talking about the moons, talking about like giving readings, right? It's like, here is some advice. Here is what I feel spirit is bringing through. And in all of that, like living my life for all of these people, trying to please people, I was always kind of living my life in theory. Like, oh yeah, I know what I have to do to look after myself. I know what I have to do to be balanced. I know what I have to do, you know what I'm saying? To have structure, but not actually like doing it. And like, yeah, I was doing some things, but I think I realized like, I don't run wild. I don't go out and frolic at the beach or run through the woods or howl at the moon. Like, I'm not out here dancing under the stars. I'm in my house. I'm editing videos and I'm, you know, like living my life through a camera lens. I'm not like really present. I'm not fully just living my best, most authentic life. And I think that was the word, was authentic and not in theory, like real, you know? Like, I want to go travel and forget my camera and not take a single photo and just not film it, not show anyone, just experience things just for myself. And I think also too, just like talking about things. I don't necessarily want to just sit here and be like, I'm going to talk about how to do this. I'm not a guru, and I think like I have all this pressure on myself to like know all the things and study all of these things in books and know in theory. So if anybody ever asks me a question, I'm like, yes, I know about past life regressions and I know about this blah, 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 blah thing. And a comment really pissed me off lately on one of my videos from years ago, like literally 3 or 4 years ago from Yule. Someone commented, they were like, sweetie, like this is kind of the vibes, like, sweetie, Yule has nothing to do with your Celtic ancestry. It's a descendant from Germanic practices. Blah, 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 blah. They just were like, it was very condescending, like, you're a dummy, how dumb, blah, blah. And it just really reinforced that thing of like, fuck this. Like, I do not want to come on the internet and like share things with people and like teach people things when people expect you, like, you literally just phrasing something. Like, I would have just been at night doing a voiceover like, yes, and I'm just doing this to connect with my ancestry. And then you have these people who are like, expect you to be a philosopher or like a friggin' historian, I should say, sorry. Like, you say one word wrong and people will pick you apart on it. And it's just like not the vibe. I'm sorry. I just do not have time for that in my life right now. And I just think my content, as much as I do want to share things, like take you along. And if I'm doing a ritual for myself, I'll friggin' put a camera up and I'll show you. But I don't want to like do a whole plan of a video for a hypothetical situation for someone on the internet to see. Like, I want to just live my life authentically and film bits of it and show you, but not plan things that are theoretical. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to curate. That's the word I'm after. I don't want to curate anymore, anything. And yeah, my birthday entering my 30s made me realize this. And I sort of swore to the universe, I am going to live authentically, not in theory anymore. And that's sort of what I've been doing. And also, I think letting go of this big veil of illusion that is like control. I think my entire life I have always thought about the future and like, when I'm 30, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to be a mom and I'm going to love it. And it's like, having kids is like the furthest thing that I want in my life right now. And I've done and lived my life for so many people already. And it's like, I want to live my life for me. I just want to wake up and do me. And so like me 5 years ago, me 10 years ago, had all of these plans for Sam in her 30s. I had so many things that I was going to be doing right now at 30. And you know what? None of that is what I want. I don't want one part of any of past versions of me, their vision for me right now. I don't want none of it. And I think that that's a really big lesson that I've learned, is we don't know what the future holds. And that can be terrifying, to be like, I don't know what's going to happen. But sometimes it's like the mystery is the magic. The unknown is life, and it is literally magic. Like, if we were given the answer to our experience as a human on a silver platter, what would be the fucking point? Again, it's a theoretical life, you know? Like, and I think that from getting mediumship readings done and psychic readings and doing my cards and always knowing what's coming is living life in theory. It's like, I'm waiting for this thing to come into my life. I'm waiting, and I'm sick of it. I just reached that point. I don't know what has changed. I don't know. I can't tell you, but I'm over it. I just want to live. And if something comes up, because guess what? Like, the universe is going to be sending you messages, your guides and spirit is sending you messages, whether you're doing your cards or not. You know, like, that's a huge big thing that I've experienced is things have been coming in, things have been changing, but I've listened to my body more. I've listened to, say, things that have come onto my path, like physically in front of me. The mirror is out there, you know, like an animal crossing my path, a conversation that I'm having with someone that lines up with a message that I felt I had been receiving from my guides. Like, the mirror is out there and I don't need it in my cards. I don't need it reflected to me in tools of divination. And I'm using my body as a tool of divination more than anything. You know, does this feel correct for me? I'm listening to my body, being just in total trust. Just trusting my body, understanding that I am a tool of divination, that energy is coming through me and through my body and I'm feeling it intuitively. You know what I mean? So that's been another like really big change. And yeah, just like completely trusting the path that I'm on and trusting my intuition more. It's just been just totally life changing. So that is my big life update, that I now have this whole new, not only just job, but like career, and everything that I thought that I wanted for myself is changing, and that is so magical. And I think that we have to allow ourselves the grace to change, that we're not always going to remain the same. And as scary as that may be, to let go of control, I think that we need it sometimes. I think that we genuinely can all benefit from letting go of the like clutch of control that we need everything to be planned out and mapped out, and just live wild, be free and shake it all off, and just trust that, you know, if you're putting your intention out there, you know what you're trying to manifest, that it will come, but sometimes in ways that we don't expect and in ways that maybe will blow our minds, because we don't really know what's best for us. We could think that we know what's best for us, but only spirit, only our guides or the goddess, the universe, whatever you want to call it or whatever you personally call it, only the gods know, you know, what is really in our like highest good, what's really the best for us. And we can't dictate to them. Like, how silly is that to be like, I know exactly what I need in life, which is AKA this was me. I know what's going to make me happy, spirit. So give it to me on a silver platter. This is what I want. They're like, oh my God, girl. Like, you are trying to manifest this whole wrong scenario. And it feels like, you know, yeah, like I don't really know. The gods know a lot more than me. And I've just kind of got to get along on the path with them. So I'm finding myself now feeling into the Samhain Beltane portal. It's sort of 3 days out as I'm filming it. And around it, it's so interesting being in a southern hemisphere and being a southern witch, because we have this strong ancestral connection to the northern hemisphere, I feel, and we have bones of our ancestors buried in those lands. So I think that when the north is doing Samhain, often in the south, Beltane, we feel that Samhain energy and that connection to our ancestors. And it's like the life portal with the death portal. Oh my God, I just like cried myself to sleep the other night because I was watching on TikTok, now please, if I pronounce this wrong, I'm so sorry, ofrendas, pet ofrendas. I was bawling my eyes out, and then it just triggered so much grief in my body with my beautiful puppy dogs, Angus and Hunter. And it was just, yeah, like so cathartic to just cry it out. But I've been missing them so much, and missing my grandparents. There's that song by, is it Rose Betts, Irish Eyes? It's like, my mother said I have Irish eyes, Irish eyes, Irish eyes. The lyrics move me so much because my pa is actually Irish. He was adopted. His parent, they had I think like 5 or 6 children, and my pa was the baby, and they all got put into an orphanage. And my pa got in the 1930s raised like in a nunnery essentially by the nuns, and I have his eyes. So my mum has blue eyes like my nan, and then I have literally my pa's eyes. They're like a browny kind of hazel color. Can you see my eyes? Whatever this color is. And I think it's really beautiful because I've always, one of my best friends in high school said I had poo brown eyes. I was like, thanks guys, why can't we say you have oak tree brown eyes or something like that? But I love my eyes so much because when I see them, I see my brother, my auntie, and my pa's eyes. And yeah, I've just been listening to that song and reminiscing on my ancestors and my grandparents and my puppy dogs, and really feeling into that ancestral kind of like Samhain energy. So it's been a really beautiful and healing time, I would say. And also, I guess, connecting with the garden, which always reminds me of my pa as well. So this time of year, as we transition from spring into summer, I live in Queensland in Australia. It's very hot. It's very warm, muggy. It gets like extremely humid, and we're heading towards the warmer part of the year, and it stays hot for a very long time. So as we're sort of transitioning to that, I need to keep on top of my garden, and I'm so proud of myself already for getting up at like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm like always in the garden watering it, and it's looking amazing. So I'll definitely include some clips here of my garden because I've just been so happy watching the bees and the butterflies every morning at like 5:30. I get up at 5 and then I go out really early and I water it. So there are a lot of my little life updates, and I guess the path moving forward is getting into a really good routine with YouTube and with filming. And I think that like a big thing is getting back to my spiritual practice as well. A lot of people, when I said, what do I do for a video? Please tell me. Were like, just film, like what you've been up to. I'm like, nothing. I've been doing nothing. I can't show you me at work. I've literally been doing nothing. And so now is the time to re-find that spiritual practice, and I'm wanting to film along that journey with my authenticity of sharing with you, like, how do you, when you give up and you start at zero and move yourself back into that daily practice, or maybe the daily practice has to shift and change to a weekly practice. I don't know. But I want to take you along on that journey with me as I start to create new morning routines. And maybe that might be another video I could make, is an updated morning routine video as well. My husband just turned up. Aww, that makes me so happy. He's home early. Also, my orchid's in bloom again. I wanted to feature her a little bit in the video because when she blooms yearly, it's always such a precious thing. That I love orchids so much, and their medicine is such a delicate and healing one. I always get so excited when I see her bloom. Hey honey. He's opening up. So a big part of doing this video was, how do I get back into filming? What's the first video that I put up? This is so awkward. I don't know how to start. And I've already tried to film it once before and it just wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't come out right. And so I've sort of been wanting to, and I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. That's what this video is, ripping the Band-Aid off and getting into it. So I'm glad I was able to kind of sit with you and have a chat. And I really think that if you can take anything from this video, is just to trust yourself, your intuition. Trust you don't need to be looking at the astrology. You do not need to know what planet is sitting in what moon is what. You literally will be living it anyway. You will be experiencing the energy. Yes, knowing absolutely can help us. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've lived my life the last 8 years charting the moon and living by the planets and all this stuff. But guess what? If you take a step back from it, and especially if you're getting caught up in it too much, to the point where then you're not living your life authentically because you're waiting for XYZ to happen. You know, you're looking too much into how this is going to play out, and you've pulled this card in your tarot and you're waiting for it to come up, and you're not just living and letting yourself express and be free. And don't let your spiritual practice actually hinder you. And it's like, it's a crutch. It should help us a little bit, but sometimes we can become reliant on that crutch. I think we need to sometimes like ditch them and just fly and just run out and howl under the moon and be a wild little thing, and just trust that the place that you're in right now is right for you and for no one else. And that if the moon is in such and such phase, but you don't feel like you can do a ritual that day, then that's fine as well. You've got to trust that, yeah, you are in the right space for yourself. And when messages come out, they're not just coming up in the cards. They're not just coming up in your meditation. They're coming up in life. People will mirror messages to you from spirit, animals, situations, feelings. Like if you're getting a feeling of, needing protection, and you're, say, meditating and you're getting this image in your mind's eye, or let's say you have like say a bee sting you, you're having like wake up calls, you nearly get into a car accident, if these things are happening, like the universe is screaming out to us more so than like the way that a card will. And I think that it's important to realize that sometimes that we need to just maybe look at our actual life and the patterns and the things that are rolling out in front of us, and where we can get messages, and maybe where we can reflect on that a little bit more so than like just doing our cards or like spiritual routines, if that makes sense. Not saying that cards are bad either. Like, I love my cards too, but just food for thought that maybe like that's what's happened to me. I've given it all up and nothing bad happened. I wouldn't say that I feel less intuitive or less spiritual. I just simply am, like, existing and living and not worried and thinking about all these things in my head. It's more bringing the energy from up here and like bringing it into the body, into, you know what I'm saying, like into the solar plexus area of like the gut and the doing. So yeah, that's just my food for thought and my experience in giving up my spiritual practice and not doing anything for 3 months. It's actually probably more, to be honest, probably like 4 months. An entire like season of the year. And I hope that you have enjoyed this chat with me. If you have any suggestions of videos you'd love to see, please leave them down below. I am formulating and planning and filming and trying to get it all together so I can get back into like a good routine, because I have been very organized in my work side of my life, because I have to be, and I think it's time that I now bring that sort of organization into my content creation. And the channel has been growing. I hit 7,000 subscribers in the time that I've been off, so I just feel so blessed and honored that there's so many of you here. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I again hope that you've enjoyed being a part of my little community. You can check out my Patreon, Instagram, all the things, and I will see you very soon. Bye. I love you.